That happens sometimes. Are we on? I don't think the tie, do you ever see people that they wear a tie, but it's not snug in there? Did you ever witness that? I'm a big stickler for snugly fit ties. Tell me in the comments if we're on. Are we on? Tell me. We got to be on. Are we on? Tell me. I can't stand it when Facebook does that. Facebook has this thing where sometimes you're on, and then you have to constantly be aware of making sure you're. Do you ever see people that stand it when Facebook does that? Here we go. Facebook has this thing where. Yeah. We good? I think we're good. Very loud and clear. Who's that? Conrad? Right. I should have done all of this earlier, but here it is. I'm doing it now. Yesterday, I woke up this morning, and what I usually do sometimes when I wake up is I go through comments. I sort of, get up to speed with what's happening in the news. I do that. And then I'll read a couple of comments. I don't read all the comments that people post. Okay. So I sort of get a snippet of what people are saying, just a feel. So some lady, I don't know who she was. I don't know who she is. And I generally don't like being mean. When people are mean to me, it is not my natural proclivity. It's not my natural response to be mean back. Every so often it pops up because, we are human at the end of the day. Okay. I'm not the Archangel Gabriel or anything like that. Okay. I'm not Emmanuel. I'm just a guy. Okay. So depending on how you catch me, I could respond in a negative way as you sort of speak to me negatively. So this lady, she asked me, she said, Mr. Mwewa, what is that you're wearing? It looks to me like a blouse. I said, what? You guys have no idea what it's like being me out here for you. I got up early to do this for you. And then you're going to turn around and say, that looks like a blouse. So you know what I said to her? I said, because what I do is that I make sure that I'm speaking to a real person. Because sometimes these people that post negative comments, sometimes these people are just trolls. It's just a troll. You won't even know who the person is. So I have to make absolutely doubly certain that the person I'm engaging with is a real human being. That's the reason I go through the pictures. I go through the profile. I read who they are. I mean, I don't spend too much time on it, but I sort of give it a once over, a very quick overview of who they are. And once I deduce that this is a real person, and then I go in for the jab, I go in for the kill, And so I sort of thumbed through her photographs, and I came across one, and I posted that. And I said, well, let me ask you a question. Are you transgender? Because I can't tell the difference. You come after me, I come after you. That's the name of the game, guys. If you can dish it, you can take it. Mute. So and then here's the thing, I felt bad about it. Later on I felt terrible. Because it's not in my nature to be mean-spirited. It's not my proclivity. You know that word, proclivity? Before I get into my dissertation, I have to tell you, FNB called me, and a lady from there said to me, Mr. Mwewa, this story that you've posted is not true, it's inaccurate. And I took it down immediately because the source that I had, I felt was an impeccable source. But sometimes you get it wrong. And so I have to do the responsible thing. If in fact I am wrong, I have to take that down and take responsibility for that. That's what we do. And then somebody earlier said to me, says, "Oh, no, you, Mr. Mwewa, you have to leave those to professional journalists. You are not a professional." I said, look, CNN retracts. CBS, NBC, CNN, they all retract. The biggest newspapers in the world, they print stories that they thought were accurate. They're not. Everybody does it. The key is to take responsibility. Is when you retract, you lend to your legitimacy. But if you keep quiet about it, that's not good. So a very big apology to FNB for that story. Take full responsibility for that. Guys, very quickly, I can't see the numbers. I can see some of your comments, but I can't really see who's watching. Not that we follow numbers, not that we're tracking, even though we are. Do me a favor, sling this broadcast to people that you think would be interested in this conversation. And as you know, and I love to say this all the time, I say this. When I come across a piece of news, a piece of information that I think is worth talking about, I jump on here real quick and I do it. And hence the reason we're here. Okay? Archbishop Alec Banda, something that Given Lubinda said in relation to the Archbishop. Now, let's be clear. I'm not here to disparage the Archbishop. I'm not here to speak negatively about him. I'm not here to disdain him in any shape, form, or fashion. However, I am here to discuss him in relation to what Given Lubinda said about him. Given Lubinda used the word sacrilegious plot. Given Lubinda said, and I quote, "The UPND should abandon their sacrilegious plot to arrest Alec Banda." Now, if there's reason for that, if in fact that is true, because you can't trust everything the PF say. You can't trust everything these politicians say. These politicians have an axe to grind at every single turn. Most of the stuff that comes out of their mouths is tethered, is linked, it's dovetailed to an ulterior political motive. Most things in politics are politically motivated. So when Given Lubinda says there is a plot to arrest Alec Banda, you have to take that with a pinch of salt. It may be true, it may not be true. And if it is true, why? What has led to that? That's the question you should be asking, because here's the thing, guys. None of us are above reproach. None of us are beyond reproach. None of us are 100% perfect, including these people we call pastors, bishops, and these religious figures. The thing I took offense to, what offended me, was him using the word sacrilegious. Do you know what sacrilegious means? A disrespectful act against, for example, if you go to a church and you have sex in a church, that's sacrilegious. If you walk around dressed as a Catholic nun in a mini skirt and a thong that you can see, that's sacrilegious. If you walk into a mosque with pig's blood and you spill it on the carpet of a mosque using pig's blood, that is sacrilegious. But when you say if there is a plot to arrest Alec Banda, that plot is sacrilegious. It's not sacrilegious. If that plot exists, if indeed that will happen, it's got nothing to do with sacrilege. It has everything to do with the law, wherever that's going to go. And my understanding is that it has to do with some type of vehicle or car, according to Given Lubinda. Let's separate the two. As politicians, I know politicians are not, they're not very responsible people when it comes to the things they say. Politicians will say anything as long as they think it'll serve them. So in this case, given Lubinda's sentiments, when he says there is a sacrilegious plot, the vibe given Lubinda's giving is that Archbishop Banda is some type of deity, which he's not. He's an archbishop, but he's not deity. None of these people are deity. They're just human beings serving in a position as archbishop. And then the other thing that I find sinister and very underhanded by Given Lubinda is him associating this issue of Archbishop being in some type of legal trouble, associating it and making it sound as if there is an active war against the Catholic Church. That's being very irresponsible, Given Lubinda. And you know that that's not true. If in fact Alik Banda will be in trouble, it doesn't mean that it is an act designed to attack the Catholic Church. We know Given Lubinda is a Catholic, and that's fine. I mean, that's his faith. But to suggest and to imply that any action taken against Alik Banda is not only sacrilegious, but it is an act, an affront to the Catholic Church, is absolute nonsense. That is ridiculous. Do not mix the two. Don't confuse the public by insinuating that if Alik Banda is in trouble and he bears the brunt of his actions, that any law enforcement that visits him is an affront, is an attack on the Catholic Church. No, it's got nothing to do with that. You're trying to incite religiosity. You're trying to incite the Catholic Church to be rebellious against authority. That's what you're trying to do. And I think it's shameful. Given Lubinda will stop at no end. He is shameless when it comes to things like this. He will not introspect. He will not sit down and think about the words that he's using. He will be careless with them. Nobody is attacking the Catholic Church. Nobody. And anyone, Given Lubinda, Raphael, Emmanuel Mamba, any one of those jokers that tells you that is misleading you. You must understand that. Okay? What was the other thing I was going to talk about? Because, you know, sometimes when I write these things down, Ndalaba, tell me in the comments, what's the next one? What is the next one? What is it? I forget what it is. Oh, the PF infighting. You've got all these cats, all these thunder cats. You've got Willa Mudolo from South Africa, who's a con man that is embroiled in legal trouble like you would not believe. I mean, the guy, Bushiri, the guy that he was associated with and arrested, you know, this Shefard Bushiri, this con man from Malawi. He escaped under the cover of darkness with his wife. He paid off judges, he paid off the police, he paid off Border Patrol. He escaped from South Africa, bled into Malawi, and now he's living in the lap of luxury in Malawi. But Mudolo is stuck in South Africa with that same legal trouble. A fraud case that involves Mudolo and Shefard Bushiri of 102 million rands. And yet Mudolo has the audacity, the unmitigated gall to think that he has the time to run for Zambian president when he's embroiled in all sorts of nonsense down there. Well, you've got that Mudolo who thinks that he can dictate to the PF that he can be the next leader of the Patriotic Front. That is not going to happen. No one in the PF is going to allow that to happen. It is disingenuous, nay, it is presumptuous for Mudolo to think that he can simply dance into the PF inner circle and dictate to Given Lubinda, Mao Zisampa, Rafael Hajakarachinda, Sean Crazy Lunatic Tembo, and say to them, listen up, boys, there's a new sheriff in town, and his name's Reggie Hammond. You know what I mean? I'm here to take over the PF. And if anybody doesn't like it, there's the door. To the left, to the left, to the left. Guys, it's never going to happen that way. No one in the PF is going to allow that joker to take over the PF. Nobody. That's a pipe dream. He's hallucinating. That's what he's doing. Okay. But the infighting within the PF is simply going to get worse. And I think it's wrong for Given Lubinda to suggest Kuti, all we need is 3 months to mobilize and we can take over the country. Are you insane? Have you lost your cotton-picking, everlasting mind? 3 months? You think you can mobilize a nationwide campaign, a tripartite nationwide campaign, ward, parliamentary, presidential, nationwide in 3 months against a backdrop of total discombobulation in your party, given the fact that the party, the PF party, is an absolute chaos? You think you can come out, what are you, a phoenix? You think you can literally fly out of the ashes, emerge from the ashes of dissension and division, and within 3 months, you can run a fully fledged, effective campaign, all pistons firing, and win a presidential nationwide campaign? You must be joking. Given I don't know what the hell you're smoking, but I don't want any part of it. It's going to make me hallucinate. It's going to make me see pink elephants. And I don't want that. I simply don't. What you guys need to do, what the PF needs to do, and I mean this when I say this, and hear me out. Hear me out. They need to come together. You know, Michael Jackson made that famous song, famous. Togetherness is all I'm after. But if he doesn't, I'll be there. If you should ever find someone new, I know he better be good to you. But if he doesn't, don't you know, baby, yeah, I'll be there. I lost my train of thought. I got caught up in an MJ thing, sorry. My point is, togetherness is what you need, mate. Not this fragmented stuff. All right. Gone for lunch. Abel Chungu's coming here in about 45 minutes. You guys know who Abel Chungu is? He's going to show up. We're going into City Market. We're doing this thing, mate. Are you familiar with it? You know, I cannot. My clothes have to be tailor-made. I can't wear this. It's too small, mate. It's not big enough. Right. Thanks for watching. Bye. No, but that's